Hello everyone, how's it going? So the season finale for The Boys season 4 is here, and it is fantastic. Like, I loved it, and even though I had a lot of criticisms for this season, the final episode really brings everything together. It's actually really well done. Not only does it answer a lot of things for the entire season and brings a lot of shocking elements along with predictable elements, it just makes you fully excited for what's to come, and I absolutely loved it. It even gives me a brand new opinion of Sister Sage. Ultimately, it's a really good season finale. It gives you excited for the final season of The Boys, and at the same time leaves you guessing of what could happen. So this review will contain spoilers after all. So this entire episode opens up with equal parts of hope for both sides of people on this battle. We have the boys who are just wondering, hey, are we going to be able to stop what's about to come? And Homelander executing the final parts of his plan. And the opening episode definitely allows us to keep the viewer guessing of what could happen. First off, it opens up with Huey still not knowing that Starlight has been kidnapped, and that's the shapeshifter. She decides to play into the whole role by proposing to Huey, giving him that sense of happiness and hope that they're going to be okay despite everything that's transpiring right now. And the reason that all of this just comes into collision is because it is exposed that Victoria is a soup. I got it right with the trailer. Turns out Homelander decides to go on a talk show about everything that's happening and just expose Victoria as a soup. He just lasers her. First he says, hey, she's a soup, and then she starts to deny it, starts to mince the words, and he's just like, you know what, screw it, and lasers her. And yeah, she's exposed as a soup, and that also completes Homelander's leash around her neck, because now she's basically lost everything. Even though there are people who are mixed about the entire situation, she's basically at Homelander's beck and call. And then Homelander decides, you know what, I need to clear house and just kill everyone who has dirt on him in VOD. So anyone who's not a soup and has dirt on him, he basically says, hey Ashley, I need you to get a plan together and just kill everyone. And that's what sends everyone over the edge. Billy is on the verge of death. He realizes he's not going to make it. Joe's trying to convince him, hey, let me do what we're supposed to do, kill all the soups and all that. And Billy is essentially like, I'm done, I'm going to die, please Huey, honor this last memory of me and Lenny, because they had a memory of going to the steakhouse in Nevada, and now that he can't do it anymore and live up to his brother's final memory, that happy memory he had with him, he's just like, Huey, do it, but let's just say things don't go according to plan. Apparently he's not in the hospital, but instead in a CIA bunker, and Grace has other plans for him, and the plan is Ryan. So another thing that we predict from the trailer is that Homelander finds out that Ryan has been in contact with Billy. He finds the photo, which is stupidly placed in his backpack. Like again, it's a plot convenience, but Homelander sees that Ryan hasn't cleaned up his textbooks, and he's like, fuck Ryan. He starts cleaning up for him, and I'm just like, why would Homelander ever care or even do that? Like, he has people who does this. But yeah, he finds the picture, which is just conveniently in the backpack. Homelander goes on a brutal rampage. He destroys the entire penthouse, talks to Ryan, starts yelling at him, telling him, I'm your dad, telling Ryan to come here, and then Ryan runs off, and he lets him run off. And I think that was the best thing Homelander could have done, allowing Ryan to come to his own conclusion, even though he's brutally angry. If he tried and brought him back through force, it would have made him hate him more. Like, Homelander, even though he is violently angry and unstable, he doesn't want Ryan to have the same prisons that controlled him, and bringing him back by force would have made him hate him. Like, no matter how many times Ryan has ran away from Homelander, he always allowed Ryan to come to him, and that's always worked in his advantage, and he allows him to go even if they can't find Ryan and they offer to go find him. He's like, no, let him go, let him decide to come back on his own. But yeah, Ryan runs to Butcher, and Grace is there hoping that Butcher can convince Ryan to be the weapon to kill Homelander. Ryan is completely unaware of this, and we do get answers some of the lingering questions I have. We'll get more into that, but he comes to Billy, and it's Grace who brings him there. So he's there just, talking to Billy. They're connecting with Connect 4, which I think is a very convenient game, but they're just talking, connecting. But Homelander, again, is letting his plan come to fruition. He's taking care of all the people who could possibly have dirt on him in Vought. They're killing them. The Deep, Black Noir, Firecracker, they're all basically Homelander's guinea pig. He's starting to push Firecracker even further away, and of course, being that she needs to belong with Homelander, she loves him deeply. She's basically at his beck and call. She doesn't care, even though he's like shoving her to the back. He's basically being an abuser in this situation. He's just like emotionally abusing her, saying, hey, you're just there to give me milk. That's all. I don't give a damn about you whatsoever, because she's taking medication in order to lactate, and it's starting to affect her. And seeing that she's a soup, the medication she's taking is probably very powerful. So yeah, she's trying 3 times as hard to try and get into his good graces. Ashley was actually the more contradictory element. She got a new assistant, so it makes no sense, and unfortunately she's also named Ashley, and the Deep, being the idiot that he is, ends up killing her. Well, Black Noir ends up killing the Ashley assistant, at least I assume it is. And you find out kind of Black Noir is also just as stupid as the Deep, because they're like, hey, there's so many Ashleys, how am I supposed to know which Ashley to kill? And he's like, that's not, she wasn't even on the list. I'm like, obviously he meant the Ashley who's the CEO. It's just like the Deep and Black Noir are both stupid, but they're also stupid together. And we also see that the Deep's insecurity is still there, where he convinces a writer to try and tell him, hey, tell me I'm not stupid. Then he's like, okay, I'll let you go, and then kills him right after, because he uses violence as power. And Black Noir 2, I should say Black Noir 2, is actually starting to become more like Black Noir 1, where he's just using violence, and it's actually becoming sexually arousing for him to kill people, and it's really disgusting. But at the point, Ashley is the one I was really questioning, because I thought she accepted her fate. That's why she didn't leave with A-Train, which, by the way, A-Train is not in this episode. He went into hiding. I assume he brought his family with him, but yeah, it's just like A-Train offered a chance to save your life. Like, he literally risked going back to Vought to save you, and you decide not to leave with him. You should have left with him, because she's afraid of dying now. Like, I thought she accepted that she's going to die, but she's not, and she does the most crazy, batshit crazy thing. She decides to go to her office, get the V, and inject herself with it, which, if you know, injecting V into an adult person, not a good sign. It leads to mutations, uncontrolled mutations, and yeah, she decides to inject herself with it, and the mutations start to happen, and it's not pretty. We don't get a full understanding of what's happening. She probably ran away after the mutation happened, because the Deep and Black Noir are looking for her, but yeah, I'm not really sure why she decided to do that, because she could have left with A-Train and go into hiding, but now she decided not to, so not really sure. But as we move on, Victoria finds out that she's basically at Homelander's beck and call. Homelander threatens that if she doesn't fall suit into what he's doing, like she's his puppet, he literally says that he's gonna shove his fist up her ass and finger her like a puppet. So yeah, she realizes she's done. Like, she cannot stop Homelander. She will always be under his beck and call, because she can't beat him. Like, she tried to use the head pop and move on him, and he's just like, come on, it's not gonna work. I can literally body you or rip your eyes out if I want to. So she realizes she's done. Like, there's nothing she can do, and she goes to the last person she can trust, Huey, who Frenchie is still trying to create the virus. Long story short, he's successful, but only able to create 1 vial of it. But we also learned that her husband or boyfriend is alive. She finds out his leg has been cut, so he's also in hiding right now, but he's alive. Not sure how, seeing that he escaped in the middle of winter with 1 leg in an area surrounded by wildlife, but, you know, he survived. And she's just like, hey, I will give you everything on Vought. All I ask for you is to protect her daughter. She gains their trust by basically asking Huey to go and get her daughter, and that's how she's able to gain the trust of the boys. They're still not fully trusting her, but they realized her daughter matters to her more than anything. And unfortunately, this is where things start to get really, really crazy. Basically, Billy is trying to connect with Ryan before they open up about what they need for him to do. And Grace just spills the beans, because it turns out after Victoria is exposed as a soup, riots are happening. everything is starting to hit the fan, she just blurts it out. And she's consumed entirely by revenge. After her family, her grandchildren were killed by Lamplighter, despite him dying, she still wants revenge. She still wants Ryan to do this. She tries to play the love card and say how much she loves him, how much she considers him a son. But the reality, she's using him as a weapon. And that's where they just reveal everything. Billy wants to ease him into it, but Grace just decides to bite the bullet and reveal everything. What happened on the plane, everything Homelander's done. First, Ryan doesn't believe it. Like, even though him and his father had a falling out, he doesn't believe it. He doesn't want to believe that his father is a monster. But unfortunately, Grace just tells him. And what really just cements everything, Ryan's just disbelief, is we reveal that indeed Grace was R-worded. Like, it wasn't an affair. Like, Ryan believed it was an affair, but it wasn't, and he did force himself on Grace, and Billy is just like, Ryan is looking at him, and Billy's like, what? Am I? And he's like, yeah. And at that point, they reveal they need him to kill Homelander, and he just completely has a mental breakdown. He's like, despite knowing everything his father has done, he's like, you want me to kill my dad? You want me to be a weapon? And he realizes that's exactly what Roth did to Homelander. They turned him into a weapon, and he's not wrong. They put him into a room, they deprived him of everything that a person would need, and then it turned him into a psychopath. And he realizes they're going to do the same thing to him, to turn him into a weapon, to make him do whatever they want. And the worst part of it all is that she's like, this room is completely bunkered to withstand people like him. Like, Ryan realizes these walls are 6 foot deep. They're meant to hold him. But the reality is they can't hold him. They like to think they can hold him, but even the bunker that they constructed for Homelander, that couldn't hold him. He could have left at any time, but they create the psychological profile which made him need to be loved. And in this consideration, Ryan doesn't need that. He can leave at any time. He can literally break down the door, and she threatens to flood the entire chamber with halogen. And she says halogen, the gas that doesn't affect Soldier Boy, which I'm almost certain it won't affect Ryan either because he's Soldier Boy's grandchild. So she's just like, we just go to nap, and then we'll just take you somewhere else until you're finally convinced. And Ryan, again, is just like, you're not going to turn me into a weapon. I'm not going to kill my dad. You're not going to make me do what you want to. And then she goes to the back of the wall with the red button. So that was Grace. I thought it was Annie, but it was Grace. And she's about to threaten him, and he just pushes her, and it kills her. And then Ryan just walks away. And I'm just like thinking, Grace, you're doing everything that made Homelander what he is. Like, you're a smart woman. Did you think that this was going to go over well? Hey, despite everything you revealed about his father, those are the rage and revenge tendencies you have. It's not what Ryan feels. You think he's just going to go along with it and say, yes, Aunt Grace, I'll do whatever you say? No. It's still his father. Even though he finds out all the horrible things and believes it, it's still like, he's not going to do it. And he just walks away. And Billy realizes that's it. It's done. Ryan is not going to kill his father. He's the last person who can stand against Homelander. He's not going to do it. And he just leaves. And likely he's going to go back to his dad. Like I stated earlier, this is always what Homelander does. He allows Ryan to come back. And he always comes back. Naturally so, because who else is going to understand him? He doesn't have anyone else other than Billy and... well, he had Grace, but we all saw that now he believed Grace was just using him from the start, and all he has left is Homelander, his father. And he leaves, and it also reveals what I thought, that Joe is more than just a psychological hallucination. Billy realizing that Grace is dead, Ryan is not going to kill his father, he bites the bullet. He allows Joe to take full control. And the really, really scary part is that it's almost like that episode of Justice League when Brainiac allows Lex Luthor to take control. He basically becomes healthy again. And what really just I did not predict to happen, he kills Victoria. It's just like out of left field. Like, she comes to the boys' hideout, and then Billy comes in. And it's just like he's fully cured. Like, he's looking 1,000 times better. He's healthy. It's not like with the bunny situation. So it feels like Joe is cured whatever is happening to Billy. Like, the cancer is cured and he's taking full control of his body. I don't know if it's like he's just like puppeting him or whatever, because we know that Joe isn't really Joe. He's Billy's worst tendencies. He's Billy season 1, where he wants to kill everyone, and he just, the parasite, it just comes out and kills Victoria. Like, she tries to use her powers on Billy, it doesn't work because he flips her over, her eyes are unable to make contact. She's not screaming, it's almost like she's accepted what's about to happen, and he just rips her in half, like, with no question whatsoever. And then everyone tries to stop him from taking the virus that Frenchie has developed, and they know they can't stop him. Like, Kimiko and Starlight, they have no way of saving him, of stopping him. Like, Starlight's back because she stopped the assassination. Like, in a very graphic scene, she pulls the locks from her. Like, the shapeshifter has been living Starlight's life, and we learn the reason that she's doing this, even though she's got the information, is because she's a psychopath. Well, sociopath. She's not a psychopath. We learned that the shapeshifter takes over other people's lives to feel something, to feel like she actually has a normal life. But the reality is that ever since she was a kid, when she took over her kindergartner's teacher's identity by accident, that everyone's memories are still a part of her. That so many memories and people's identities she's taken over have basically cemented that her life is basically just a walking caricature. She has no self-identity. Heck, she doesn't even remember who she is anymore because she's taken so many other people's skin. And I guess it's lightly confirmed that the shapeshifter can't default back to her original form. She always has to take someone else's form in order to repair her skin. Like, she's like the leech from Static Shock. Her skin eventually falls apart and she needs to essentially recharge by touching another person every time. So she never can default back to her original skin. She doesn't even remember what she used to look like. But worst of all is that she learns about everyone's dirty secret, and the worst part about them is she realizes everyone justifies all the horrible things that she's done. Like, she finds out her kindergarten teacher is like sleeping with her husband's best friend. She ran over one of her kids in a hit and run. Like, all these horrible things, and she always justified all the horrible things she's done. And same thing with Annie, how Annie has done so many horrible things and justifies them also, like the pageant, the essay between the 7, she justified that too, that it was her fault until eventually she gained agency with her life. But it's also the duplicate who's just like trying to use her worst insecurities against her to destroy her mentally, and you can see it's crushed in Starlight, that she knows who she is down to the letter. And yeah, it's not good. It's like destroying her in such an emotional level that it allows her to just take her DNA and continue her life, which she also proposed to Huey. So we see that she's just trying to live the best life that Huey wants in hopes of crushing him later down the line, because Huey finds out that she is the duplicate because she uses the same words. She's like, it's like a furnace in here, and that triggers Huey to realize all the things that she's been doing was actually issues. Like, Huey does reveal this to Starlight after she comes back, of all the little things she was doing, knowing that he does know Starlight on a profound level, but that one little phrase just triggered it. It just set everything to motion. He's like, oh my god, it's the duplicate. And unfortunately, the duplicate infiltrates, kills a bunch of soldiers, isn't successful in killing the president, but she has another plan. She films the president stating how he was trying to assassinate Victoria, and despite the assassination falling through, because Starlight is able to stop her, regaining her powers and her agencies, because of all that emotional damage that the duplicate inflicted on her, it forced her to go through her own self-therapy session where she's like, I don't know who I am, I don't know if I'm a good person, but I do know that I can stop you. And she beats the duplicate. And yeah, so that one, her backup plan, the duplicate, was to upload that information of the president revealing that he tried to assassinate Victoria, which forced him to also resign as president, because yeah, so not exactly a great plan. But of course Homelander's plan falls apart because of all of this, because now Victoria's dead, he doesn't have anyone to take the seat, and he's completely crippled. And what really just cements all of this is Sister Sage says, she comes back and realizes, hey, this was my plan all along. She predicted everything, even the things that she said to Victoria. Like, I was like, was that actually true? Or was she just trying to manipulate Victoria? And it turns out 100%. She was manipulating Victoria. We don't even know if what she said to her was true about her grandmother and everything. So she was manipulating everyone, even the audience, and this was all her plan. Even getting fired by Homelander, that was kind of part of the plan. And eventually, the person who's now next in line to be president allies himself with Homelander, and Sister Sage is like, yeah, this is everything. And the reason she did it was just to prove that she could do it. It's literally just to confirm her own ego that she is the smartest person in the entire world. And honestly, yeah, she is. She predicted everything, she cemented everything, and she gave Homelander America on the silver platter. And she's still going to work with Homelander, and Homelander is just like, and he's not angry. Like, the thing is, he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted from her, and he's like, yeah, and she's planning for part 2 of everything to plan everything out. So, wow, I take my words back. Sister Sage actually knew what she was doing. Holy crap, I feel like the idiot, so congratulations on that. And yeah, so the last part of the episode is where everything just comes together. Billy takes the virus from Frenchie because they realize they can't stop him. He ripped Victoria apart like she was tinfoil, and none of them can stop him. He takes the vial and he's just going to stop Homelander with it. And unfortunately, everyone has to go into hiding. Their plan is completely shot. They have no leverage. They're an enemy against Vought. Vought is killing everyone who's opposed to them. And unfortunately, the final scenes show that Homelander is in full control. He's basically taken over the presidency. It might as well be President Homelander. They're planning to use the soups to enforce martial law on the entire American body, and they're using Tech Knight's internment camps to imprison all the Starlighters and using their powerful information brackets to control over these radical Homelanders in order to arrest Starlighters. So now it's become a police state. And what's left of the boys, they're taken into custody. They're taken into custody by Vought. They're trying to go in their separate ways. They have to go into hiding. Every one of them has passports and they go their separate ways. And instead of just leaving things blank like that, they decide to go the extra mile. Huey and Starlight are taken in. Basically, the Genviers, they are now Homelander's enforcement. They are taken over. They take Mother Milk. He's imprisoned. Huey and Starlight are also imprisoned. Well, Huey is taken into imprisonment, and one of the Genviers tries to kill Starlight, but she flies away, gaining full control of her power again. And then we have Kimiko and Frenchie, who are taken prisoner as well. Frenchie is basically under the control of one of the Genviers. I guess he's the only one who could take the virus, and seeing that they probably need the virus just in case they need to systematically kill any soups they want to do covertly. Like, they can't just have Homelander go and kill them, or Black Noir, or the Deep. This is a way for the only person who can create the virus to create the virus. Like, yeah, you technically have Victoria Neuman's husband or boyfriend, but we don't know where he is. He's probably in hiding. We have no idea where he went. As for their daughter, well, she's put into foster care. So we don't know whether it's Vought foster care. I don't know what that building is, but she's put into foster care, which is a little crazy, all things considered. It could be the CIA also taking her into custody to make sure she's safe, because the boys did promise to protect her, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to protect her from Homelander. But then again, why does he need her? Victoria's dead, not part of the plan. Who cares about her at this point? What's she gonna do? But yeah, everyone is basically at the verge of this collapse. Homelander won, the boys lost, and Butcher has the virus, and he's planning to use it to kill Homelander or commit vast genocide across the entire planet. One of the final scenes we see is that we see Joe's reflection, which means Billy has given full control to Joe at this point, or essentially himself at the full radical height. So yeah, that's how it ends. And honestly, the entire thing is really well done. The only nitpick I have is the whole picture situation. That's just a plot convenience. But overall, I'm happy for what this season finale gave us. It gave us enough information to look to the final season with a lot of hope, while at the same time creating a system that is so devoid of hope that you have no idea what's going to happen. Is Billy going to create the virus that just kills all the Supes, or is he just going to kill Homelander, or is the genocide option going to be the last thing that he does and just kills everyone on the planet? Is Ryan actually going to take agency and decide, hey, my dad is crazy, I'm going to kill him? Or is he going to join him? Because it could go either way at this point. Like, Ryan doesn't, even though Ryan accepts everything that transpired, maybe he's going to confront his dad and say, hey, did you do this to my mom? And then is he going to, like, that's something that I feel like Ryan is going to do, because he still loves his mom deeply. But is this something that's just going to draw a line where he's just like, I'm done? I don't know. Like, that's a big wild card here. What's going to happen with Ryan? Is he just going to go into hiding and say, screw it, I don't want anything to do with my dad, I don't want to do anything with the boys or anything? Yeah, it's also the option. And I mean, the only last thing that I didn't really talk about is that Kimiko and Frenchie have decided to repair their relationship. They decided they love each other, they want to be with one another more than anything, and that they're going to take it one day at a time to try and forgive themselves for the sins they've committed. But they forgave each other. They're like, it doesn't matter what we've done, we love each other, but all that's left is try and forgive ourselves, but we forgive each other. But I think that's enough of what I want to talk about. Like, if I were to give this season a rating, I would give it, I think this is probably new hype, but I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's good. Like, I liked it, and it gave me enough hope for the final season, but we'll see how they're going to close things off, because the final season really has a heavy lifting to go through. So, that's it from me. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Bye.